Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the Sandwich of Coherency. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Today we're going to ask ourselves a very I can't even say this shit with a straight face. Today we're going to, today we're, today we're going to be asking ourselves the very important today, today we're going to be asking ourselves a very important question. Why is there drag queen story hour on military bases? Shit! What the fuck? Oh, let's just go ahead and jump right into this.
Are doing. Go ahead and put up the first slide. I guess my question is, how much taxpayer money should go to fund drag queen story hours on military bases?
You know, drag queen story hours is not something that the department funds.
Well, wait a second. That's actually not what the record seems to suggest. You were going to fund one at Ramstein Air Force Base. That one got canceled, but that's DOD insignia. That's a drag queen story hour for children. Then also at Malmstrom Air Force Base outside of Great Falls, Montana, you had a drag queen story hour for kids. At the Joint Base Langley Eustis, you put on a drag queen story hour on a Saturday for the first ever kid-friendly diversity, equity, inclusion summer festival. And at Nellis Air Force Base, you had the Drag You Nellis on June 17th. Who funded these things, Mr. Secretary?
Listen, drag shows are not something that the Department of Defense supports or funds. So.
But wait, why are they happening on military bases? I just showed you the evidence. Why are they happening?
I will say again, this is not something that we support or fund.
Well, so you think hosting a drag queen story hour on a military base isn't supporting the drag queen story hour?
I stand by what I just said.
But you may stand by it, but it's belied by the evidence over and over again. I mean, are you aware of the piece? Biden's military, Air Force Base in Montana holds drag show, drag queen story hour for kids in the Western Journal. Are you aware of that?
Again, I will say what I said before.
You're saying what you're saying, but I guess it just doesn't comport with the facts. General Miller.
Why? I gotta ask why. You know, look, this is not anything. I'm just pointing out the obvious here. You've got these situations happening. You've got them arguing over the fact that, what was it, a couple of years ago, that we don't make flight suits for pregnant women in fighter jets. That's a whole different argument. We've got lowering standards for enlistment. There's actual declining enlistment in the U.S. Armed Services. I mean, you've got all these things happening, and the rest of the world is looking at this, and you've got adversaries of the United States partnering up and teaming up. Things that would not have ever happened before. They're saying the United States as declining and weak. I mean, a lot of people would think that this is a good idea, and it's a lot of people that, like I said, Democrats, whatever you want to call them, even some on the right. But a lot of people would think that this is a good idea. But the world runs on the petrodollar. And I think people forget that the strength of the United States, that it has the comfortability of the lives that Americans live, is based on the fact that the world trades in the U.S. dollar. If the world decides to move away from the U.S. dollar, well, let's just say that things in America probably, boy. And so the rest of the world is looking at the United States as a dying animal. It's weak. Its time as the leader of the pack has, in their opinion, run its course. And there are younger, more virile I guess you could say, adversaries that want to lead the pack now. And they're all, and that's the thing, they're all vying amongst themselves and they're fighting amongst themselves to choose a leader. But make no mistake, they are actively working to remove the United States from its position. And for those of, like I said, for those of you who think that that's a good idea, oh, might I suggest you do spend more time traveling and seeing the rest of the world. Understand the rest of the world does not live like the United States. This is why many of them are vying to get here. In the rest of the world, you know, the lifestyle of the average American, well, that's considered top notch. I mean, you're living almost like a king. So, like I say, really spend more time traveling and seeing what life is like for the rest of the world. And hopefully that will bring things into perspective for you. But I've gotten away from the point. And the point is, why are we holding drag queen story hours on military bases? Again, we have this happening. We have foreign nationals, illegal immigrants, all staying on U.S. military bases. But for U.S. vets and people who have fought for the United States, they get to sit on the street corners and beg for change. That's literally how they see them. And that, again, this is all stuff that you have to put into perspective and understand that the entire world is watching. They're watching what the U.S. is doing. And at some point, in one way or another, whether most likely it will be financially, they will strike. And they will strike hard. And considering that the average American doesn't have very much money in their savings, the US dollar losing its value, millions of people are going to see their lives completely flip for the absolute worst. So please, let's stop fighting amongst ourselves and do what was originally proposed and try and make America great again. Jeez, I don't understand why that is so, Jesus Christ. But I thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.